Nithyananda. This is Maya and you are watching NTV News live from Dhyanapitam Ashram in Bidadi. It is Tuesday, February 8, 2011. In today's headlines, the morning Satsang was on topic.
The seedless Samadhi, nirbeeja Samadhi.
Wall Street Journal covers Paramahamsa Nithyananda's press meet. In exploring the Vedic tradition, what is Pancha, Tapas? Let's get to main news. Today's morning Satsang, Swamiji spoke on topic, the seedless Samadhi, nirbeeja Samadhi. Swamiji continued elaborating on Patanjali Yoga Sutras. Dhyana, Dharana and Samadhi are the very soul of yoga, but seedless Samadhi is even more subtle. It requires complete and intense dedication to the spiritual goal alone. Not even one desire should remain.
Everything, including an ordinary simple desire like having a banana, having a potato.
Swamiji highlighted the beauty and purity of Sanskrit language, the language on which all the scriptures, these great truths are written.
Sanskrit language is created to keep these eternal truths alive for generations. Whatever you believe as you, whatever position you hold in your social life, family life, personal life, spiritual life, whatever position you take up, whatever commitment you accept, be honest to it and drop the identities which you are not able to fulfill. Honesty to the identity moves you from pratyahara to dharana. For pratyahara to dharana to happen, a complete honesty in your very understanding about yourself has to happen. Fulfilling the identity which you assume and renouncing the identities which you are not able to fulfill is what I call standing on Satya, that is responsible for in Dharana. You need to change your whole system. The whole body and mind needs to go through a change, a lifestyle change. But the real yoga is in Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. That is the soul of the yoga. From Pratyahara to Dharana, you need lifestyle change. And from Samadhi to nirbeeja Samadhi, you need a complete, intense dedication to the spiritual goal alone.
We have legal updates for you tonight. Wall Street Journal covers Paramahamsa Nithyananda's press meets. This is what they wrote. Bidadi, February 1st. Swamiji Nithyananda has rubbished all the sexual abuse charges against him in a press conference in his ashram on February 1st. This is the first time he is speaking openly after the controversial video was aired into our living rooms. He was in his elements and was well prepared to face the volley of questions that was most likely to come his way. He numbered the various accusations against him and gave the counter-arguments. Check our website for the full article, nithyananda.org. A report from Oman and Satsang Center and Holy Paduka's Mandir. After Swamiji's Kriya initiation process last Sunday, Ma Nitya Devi experienced intense energy, and after Swamiji announced materialization of Vibhuti, Ma Nitya Devi for the third time had Vibhuti materialized inside her palms in Samana Mudra. And tonight also we have reports from you from Nithyananda Vedic Temple, Ohio and Seattle. Let's check it out.
Shambho Mahadeva Deva, Shiva Shambho Mahadeva Devesha Shambho, Shambho Mahadeva Deva.
Programs are all so beautiful. It's a great blessing to have these programs. Even though we are so many miles away from Bidadi, we feel like we are already there with Swamiji.
Body was shaking, or rather my head was moving left and right, and it was not me doing it. It was just happening on its own, and I believe it's the Kundalini effect.
Shuddhamardhendhuchudam bhaje margabandhum, bhaje margabandhum, bhaje margabandhum.
Nithyananda, today's special episode of NTV, which is bringing you news from Nithyananda Vedic temples and Satsang centers here in North America. Today we'll be talking with Sri Nithyananda Maharaj here in Seattle. Nithyananda Maharaj, we heard so much about the recent Pujacharya trainings that you've been conducting, and we want to know more because people from all these cities, Toronto, Vancouver, Seattle, Ohio, they've all been talking about this Pujacharya trainings that have been going on in the last few weeks. So we want to know more about it. Can you tell us when all these Pujacharya trainings started and how many you've conducted so far?
We started around after LEP, and in October. We started because many temples were starting up. And Toronto, especially in Toronto, they're getting a group together and they get looking for a temple, and all those arrangements are happening. And they need to be able to receive deities, take care of the temple, and get rituals into their lives.
Yes.
So just to get a taste of how it is to have puja and the deities in their lives, we started puja trainings with Toronto and Vancouver also, and we've started also in LA for training new people who want to learn puja. And as Swamiji says, puja training is for anybody.
Right.
And it doesn't matter which gender you are, which race you are, doesn't matter who you are. You can learn mantras no matter who you are.
That's right. Great. So, how many cities have you covered with the Pujacharya training so far in the last few months?
I've covered around 5 to 6 cities.
Which are these?
Toronto, Vancouver, LA, and Miami. Then I did in Chicago,
Okay.
and a little bit in New York.
Okay.
And I tried to get as many people interested in the training and really share our unique way of learning puja.
Exactly.
Because we have a very unique way of communing. We try to teach mantras so that people will be able to communicate with their Ishta Devata or with the master. For example, Guru Puja. It is a chant that helps you establish yourself in gratitude.
Right.
Throughout the whole mantra, you just be in gratitude with the existence or whichever deity you want to be, and it does a lot of healing. As you know, gratitude will do a lot of healing for you, and the same way that gratitude that you do for maybe 7 minutes a day for puja, that gratitude you'll carry that gratitude with you throughout the day, and it'll be a really rejuvenating thing to start the day.
Wonderful, wonderful. So tell me one thing. The highlight of these puja trainings was that it was an online puja training.
Yeah.
Pujacharya training.
Yeah.
So tell us, did you face any challenges, or how did people receive this online training? Because face-to-face is a different quality. Did you find that people found it difficult to understand, or did you find it difficult to impart this training?
There is no difference between doing it in face-to-face or through Skype or any video conferencing. It was exactly the same way as it would be if I did to somebody, if I taught to people just in front of them. So there is not much of a difference, and even it's really nice because many features are there where I can share files through the internet, and immediately things will get to them, and things happen much quicker even
Right.
through video conferencing.
Very true. So how long was this Pujacharya training for each city?
Well, what we do is we do weekly sessions.
Okay.
For a week, we'll spend an hour to 2 hours. We'll take breaks and all this. But we'll spend, for a week, one class with the city. And I'll ask them, this is what mantra we learn. We learn a puja. And before that, we'll learn any special chant that they want to learn. For example, we have the Swasti mantra that we chant after Pratyaksha Pada Puja every day. That mantra, we just quickly go through it. We just go through it casually in the class.
Yes.
Like that, every class will go through it. And like that, slowly people will get it.
Yes.
The same way we learn Kalabhairava Ashtakam and all these different special chants for deities. But the main part of the class is teaching the pujas for the different deities. We recently started for Subramanya for Toronto because they're supposed to be receiving a very special Subramanya deity made out of the Navapashana.
That's right.
And the way we teach classes, a lot of emphasis is put on pronunciation.
Mm-hmm.
From my experience, I used to chant mantras before. I used to just chant because I always used to hear them. I was just always used to chant them. But when I put awareness into pronouncing the mantras properly, learning them, and then reviewing them, reading them, and pronouncing them properly with the right tune, all this, I found that by me adding awareness to the pronunciation, I would be able to become sensitive to the vibrations of the mantras.
That's
I
nice.
felt really energized after chanting mantras, after being aware of the pronunciation. After I chant mantras, I'll be really energized and a really blissful feeling will be there.
Right.
So we focus on pronunciation in the class so that they'll be able to also become sensitive to the vibrations. And we try to make it very easy. We have some chanting exercises that help you pronounce all the letters, all the syllables in Sanskrit, so that it'll be easy for you. And when we teach, you'll learn quicker.
Right.
And it'll come naturally to you after just doing some of these chanting exercises.
Wonderful, wonderful. So the other thing we've been hearing about the Pujacharya training, the online Pujacharya training is, it's not just limited to those volunteers or satsang members who want to just become Pujacharyas. It's also open to everybody else in the city.
Yes, anybody who wants to learn can come online, and I can teach them the chanting exercises, and we'll start with Guru Puja, learning the mantras of Swamiji, and Swamiji gives a beautiful explanation to Guru Puja. And it's not just that puja is just an offering to the God. It is actually a time where we sit and remember all the initiations, all the clicks that happened to us. That is also a meaning of puja. And Swamiji explains puja that way also. And we go through that also with people. So anybody can join in that also.
Exactly. So the Pujacharya training, the online Pujacharya training, are we calling it the N Pujacharya training now?
Okay,
Yes.
we'll call it that.
So the N Pujacharya training, which is now taking place in various cities in North America, is open to anybody who's interested in learning about what it is to become a Pujacharya and all the knowledge that is embedded in this training. So one last question. How many more Pujacharya trainings are you going to conduct in the coming days?
Since it's through Skype, I can do it from anywhere, anytime. So it's fully open, and any day of the week, especially in the night time, because it's nice to chant. And whenever you chant, it's nice to get a big group together.
Yes.
If you have a nice group, and you really get inspired because everybody else is chanting with you, and it creates a nice group energy when you chant in a group. So if there's satsangs, centers, or anybody in a satsang center who wants to start chanting, ask the rest of your satsang center if they also want to join in. And as a satsang center or as a group, you can all come together.
Absolutely.
And we can have chanting class.
Great. Okay. So one last question, Maharaj, although I did say it's going to be the last one. So Sri Nithya Rajananda Maharaj is the youngest Pujacharya we have in the US. And he is the US coordinator for all Pujacharyas. Did you ever think you'd become the US coordinator for all Pujacharyas? And how does it feel?
It feels, it's a nice, great blessing. And I really like communicating with all the temples and getting to know what they're doing, how their pujas are going, how they're able to transform through being in the temple, how they're growing through the temple, and all these things. I like to know all these things. I get to know all these things from talking to all the temples, and sharing this knowledge is a really nice thing, because nowadays we have the internet and just mantras and text and audio is being sent everywhere, and people are learning really quickly. So I like doing the coordinating because I'm able to share all this knowledge with everybody and learn more also.
Great. All right. So thank you very much for sharing all this information today, and hopefully very soon we'll be having information about the next round of online Pujacharya training, which is scheduled for various other cities. So we'll bring you this news very soon on NTV. Thank you very much, Maharaj. And Nithyananda.
We have some beautiful photos of Sri Anandeshwara and Anandeshwari that we would like to share with you. And with this we are going to end our news. But let us hear a quote from Swamiji. Real love keeps you in the moment. That is why it's so powerful. Thank you for joining us, and tune in for tomorrow's updates on NTV. Nithyananda.
Nithyanandam. Let us now enter into the next episode of exploring into Vedic traditions. Today we are going to bring forward an understanding about Pancha Tapas. Tapas means penance. Pancha means five. Five fires surround a person, and he does tapas or penance seated inside the circle or square or whatever it is, where he is surrounded by 4 or 5 fires. This is a tradition found in the Vedic culture, and there are references to this tapas being performed by yogis or seekers who are very intense on their path to enlightenment. This Panchagni tapas is also known as Dhuni tapas. There are sages who in their extremity they have a circle of fire around them and have a kapala, a fire pot kept on their head to make it more intense, because they believe that will definitely lead them to the enlightenment. So this also can be seen. If you go into Sanskrit literature, you can find the most important writer among all the writers in Sanskrit are Kalidasa. Kalidasa, many of you might have heard, is one of a gifted poet. He, in his work Kumara Sambhava, wherein he describes the way in which Shiva got married to Parvati and they got a child who was able to destroy a demon. In that epic story called Kumara Sambhava, he describes that Parvati, the mother goddess, who could not win over Shiva just by serving him, finally decided to undertake tapas. And initially she did a light practice of doing tapas or penance. Later on, as the intensity in her flowered, she undertook difficult tapas. And towards the end, when her wish was about to be fulfilled, she had undertaken intense tapas called Pancha Tapas. The description Kalidasa gives is that she is seated in meditation in the midst of 4 fires surrounding her on the 4 directions, with the sun overhead burning. So with this and with the intensity of the purpose she had, she did the tapas. And mind you, he also describes that the tapas went on not only during summer, she carried on forward during the other seasons also. Finally, the prayers which she had were answered when Shiva appeared before her and after a brief test accepted to marry her. That was the intention. Probably if you read it deeper, you may understand that the Mother Goddess wanted to reach the state of Shiva consciousness, and this she had performed by doing the Pancha Tapas. Even now, among certain yogis who belong to particularly one tradition called Ramanandi tradition, they have the practice of doing Pancha Tapas. Pancha Tapas, initially the aspirant may start with 4 fires surrounding him on the 4 directions. Progressively, as the intensity in him starts flowering, he may increase it to 8 fires depending on the 8 directions, and then 16. Finally, when he is total intense, he has a circle of fire. Maybe 84 also is mentioned. 84 fires is also mentioned. There may be circles of fire also. And there are references to yogis doing tapas. Initially, before doing the tapas, they purify themselves, and the tapas is performed by certain people by means of mantra or by sitting oneself inside the circle of fire and doing deep contemplation or meditation. When an enlightened master sits, he is generally surrounded by a circle of fire because he has already gained the ultimate experience. There is nothing new he is going to gain by sitting in the circle of fire to attain something. He has attained everything. And what is the reason why an enlightened master may sit? It is generally as an example to his disciples, to inspire the disciples and to energize the area around him. Not only does he energize the area around him, by sitting himself inside the fire, he can emit positive energy to such an extent that the whole world can connect to him. His energy can spread throughout. And the disciples who are also seated around him in different sets of circles of fire, they get inspired, they get intense in their purpose. And moreover, Pancha Tapas cannot be done by somebody who does not have the intensity. Mind you, it is very difficult to sit inside a fire and do penance or meditation for hours together. It is only a person who has intensity, who has the purpose or the goal of attaining something higher than what he has understood so far. Only such a seeker can have the energy and the strength of mind to sit inside a fire and do the penance. So, an enlightened master inspires his disciples to sit in the midst of this fire and continue this practice. According to ancient references, this practice of Pancha Tapas, they continue for number of years, probably up to 18 years, so that the soul flowers into the ultimate experience. There are people who are intense in their pursuit, spiritual pursuit. They do take up these difficult austerities. Austerities means practices, difficult practices. It is possible only when you can de-link yourself from worldly attractions and go inward. Initial stage of cleansing, as I explained in Brahmacharya, cleansing of the body and mind is necessary, and only such a person who has attained a certain state of cleansing can undertake this difficult tapas called Pancha Tapas. And when a master sits, he is sitting there just to emit positive energy, the energy that is overflowing in the form of compassion to the entire world around him. He is doing it for the general welfare. His motive is Sarve Janaha Sukhino Bhavantu. May all the people live blissfully. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. May the entire world have bliss in them. That is the sole motive of an enlightened master sitting in the Pancha Tapas. Nithyananda.